name's James back with 360 and back. In today's short iGuide tutorial, I want to go over mode number 2 in the measurement tool features. Now, if you're familiar with the iGuide knowledge base, you can simply type in the measurement tool, which will bring you step-by-step instructions on how to use this feature. However, if you're not familiar with the iGuide knowledge base, I made a previous video on it, which I would highly recommend to go back and watch first. So in mode number 2, it's going to be measurements on a vertical plane. Now you're going to be able to measure the distance between points located on a vertical plane using a panorama. This mode is useful for measuring features found on walls, such as windows, doors, and ceiling heights. Okay, so I already have us pulled up in front of a window, and we're just going to measure to see how tall this window is. So the first thing we're going to do is click on the ruler, and it's going to bring us to measurement mode number 1. We're going to go ahead and click on it one more time. This is going to bring up measurement mode number 2 and 3. So we're just going to select measurement mode number 2. Now we have an information bar that just popped up, so let's read that real quick. It says click and drag on the floor plans to draw a line along any suitable wall. This will define a vertical plane, which will contain all subsequent measurements. Measurements in a shaded area may have a larger uncertainty than shown. So what this means is that when we measure this window, it's going to say we're within 5 inches of being 100% accurate. Or it's going to say we're within 9 inches. So when we try to measure in this darker gray area here, it may say that we're within 5 inches, but in reality, it may be off by another 4 inches or a foot. You know, this could be really anything. So the key thing to remember is never to measure anything in the dark areas. And in each panorama, you're going to have 2 shaded areas. You're going to have one on the left and you're going to have one on the right. The reason for that is the camera that's being used on the iGuide has 2 lenses. One is facing rear and the other one is facing front. So it's just important to keep that in mind when you're trying to use measurements. Now, for instance, if we wanted to measure this and we see it's all grayed out, the best thing to do is just select a different panorama like this. And now we can see that there's no shaded areas. And if we move over, our shaded areas here and our shaded areas over here. So just keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and go back to our original area. Now you want to make sure that you are looking at the wall when you make the measurement. The best way to know this is if you look at this cone, you see how it's like a shaded gray area. That's the direction that we're facing. So as we click and drag, we can see that little gray cone is moving to the wall that we want to look at. So we want to look at this window and look at there. We're looking right at that window. Now that we know that we're looking at the correct wall, we need to go ahead and draw a line. Now for me, the best way to do it is try to get as straight as possible. So we're going to click on the zoom feature right there, and we're just going to zoom in. And what I'm going to do is I've got crosshairs, so I'm just going to click and drag between these 3 points to make it even easier. So I'm just going to click on that pan and zoom again. I've got the crosshairs. And now I'm just going to click and drag and make sure that I'm straight. And it's pretty straight. However, if you see that you're really off, what you can do is just come down here to the undo. Just select that. Make sure you're off pan and zoom, and then you can do it again. And then we did it again, and it looks a lot cleaner and a lot straighter. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it really needs to be as close as possible for your best results. So if we want to, we can just click on this reset the zoom. Oops. There we go. Lock that in place. Now we got more information. Now it says double click on the image to define a starting point for your measurement. So we're going to measure along this window here. And we're just going to measure right here. If we want to, we just use the scroll wheel and zoom in. And you can see we left a little red dot. Come up here and we'll do the same point. There we go. And now it's telling us that it's 5 feet 4 inches. We have a little information up here. It says estimated measurement uncertainty is 2 inches. Hardly dependent on how far the measurement points are from the panorama. Measurements in shaded areas may have larger uncertainty than shown. Take additional measurements by selecting a new start and endpoints. So what this is saying again about this grayed out area, if it said 2 inches inside this grayed area, it could be a lot greater. Just because it said it doesn't mean it's true. Here, it feels really confident that it's within 2 inches. But it's also saying take some more measurements. So we can do that. So we will just double click another point. We'll double click right here. Okay. Same thing. We can click right here. And double click again. So everything is saying 5 feet 4 inches. So we can feel pretty confident that that's what it's going to be. So that is it for this quick tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me an email. I hope this answered all your questions, and thank you.